When did you realize your family didn't see you as one of them? I left on my 18th birthday, the second I graduated early. No one saw it coming. I'd saved every dollar from working for my dad and uncles. $4,200, bought a used Honda, got a studio apartment for $650 a month, had first and last month's rent, plus a little extra. My dad found me packing that morning. He stood in my doorway and offered me $3,000 to help me start out. I said, "No thanks, Dad, I'll be fine." Something flickered across his face. Relief, maybe. Like I was doing him a favor by not taking his money, by leaving. I hugged my mom on the way out. She patted my back twice, the way you'd pat a coworker. Not like how she held my brothers when they left for college, crying into their shoulders for 10 minutes. My siblings thought it was weird how I just disappeared overnight. I was always the one organizing game nights, staying up late talking. Now I'd answer their texts on holidays, show up for birthdays for exactly 20 minutes, then leave. I had a rule, never stay long enough to feel it. My younger sister cried the first night I was gone, wanted Dad to make me come back. I heard about it later. She thought I'd die or something, but I couldn't tell her the real reason I left. 5 years went by like that. In and out, quick visits, clinical conversations. My older brother said it felt like a soldier reporting to a commanding officer, not a son visiting his parents. At Mom's birthday last month, I made the mistake of staying 30 minutes instead of 20. Told them about my girlfriend Emma, about my new construction job, about the German Shepherd puppy I'd just adopted. Dad laughed and said, "We're terrible parents. We don't know anything about your life." Mom's face fell. She looked at me and said, "It feels like you don't want to be around us anymore." I left right after that, but my brother texted me that night. "We need to talk about what's going on with you." So I finally told him everything. I told him about being 8 years old, trying to kiss Mom on the cheek like my brothers did. She'd push me away, say, "Not now, John." But 5 minutes later, she'd pull my older brother onto her lap. I told him about being 12, asking Dad for help with algebra homework. He'd say he was too tired, ask your teacher. Then stay up until midnight helping my younger brother with his science project. I told him about Christmas when I was 14. Our grandparents brought gifts for everyone. They handed me a $25 gift card to Target. Everyone else got personalized presents, things they'd talked about wanting. I told him about the hunting trip when I was 16. Dad asked each of my brothers right in front of me. Spent 20 minutes talking about what they'd bring, what they'd hunt. Then as they were loading the truck, he turned to me, almost annoyed, and said, "You can come if you want." I said no thanks. The relief on his face was obvious. My brothers confirmed that one later. They said they remembered thinking it was weird how Dad acted. I had dozens of stories like this. Aunts and uncles who'd forget my name at family reunions, forget which grade I was in, forget to invite me to cousin gatherings. I told my brother I understood. I wasn't their real son, and it would be inhuman to expect them to love me the same way they loved him and our siblings. I told him I refused Dad's money because it felt wrong, using it on me instead of his actual children. I told him that I'd always love them and respect them for raising me, but it was too painful to be around them for long, because I knew I couldn't be what they wanted, and they couldn't be what I needed. My brother cried. Our sister cried when he told her. She told our parents. Dad punched a wall. Mom sobbed. They called me, said they loved me just as much as everyone else, insisted I was wrong about everything. I said okay and hung up. Then 3 days later, Mom called again. Her voice was shaking. She said, "John, I need to ask you something." I said, "What?" There was a long pause. "Do you have any inappropriate feelings toward your brothers and sisters?" I stood there in my apartment, holding the phone. My dog was wagging his tail at my feet. Emma was making dinner in the kitchen. I said, "What?" She repeated it, slower, like I hadn't heard her. That's when I knew. 5 years of keeping my distance. 5 years of protecting myself from the pain of not being enough. And she thought I left because I wanted to F my siblings. I hung up. Haven't answered their calls since.